The debates are over. The December 7 election is now clearly in sight with exactly 2 weeks to go. Today on your election headquarters, we will wade into that raging controversy triggered by Hassan Ayariga, presidential candidate of the PNC, accused of using last night's debates to simply do the bidding of his alleged paymasters in the NDC. We'll also get the perspective of an analyst as we attempt to score the debate and gauge the relevance. We're live from the Multi-TV studios and live also on radio at Joy 99.7 FM. Together, we are your election headquarters. We'll be back with the details. Hello, good afternoon. You're live on Joy 99.7 FM and live on the Joy News channel on Multi-TV. This is your election headquarters. This afternoon, we're also live on Love FM in Kumasi, and the program is brought to you by Infobox Mobile Services. Text election or joy to 1922 for more. Each SMS costs 10 pesos. Be the first to know it all, the issues, the promises, the policies, results and more from the Joy election headquarters. My name is Arba Kumson. So, the debates are over. Last night, the presidential candidates of the NDC, the MPP, PNC and CPP did battle on issues. But in the end, one name was once again on the lips of many who watched the final debate, Hassan Ayariga of the PNC. Shortly, I'll tell you why, but first, let's sample the views of the candidates on corruption.
I think the attitudes of children who see gains in corruption need to be stopped at an early stage.
My father, Nana, was in the MPP government when President Kufuor defended corruption that it started from Adam. This Kufuor's principle translated to chop, make I chop.
Committed to the fight of against corruption. You yourself, of course, must not be corrupt. You yourself should be somebody who can take on the fight because you're not corrupt, have never been and will not be. That is the position in which I stand. Not being corrupt, never will be and have not been.
The point I'm making is, what are the sources of those judgment debts? Indeed, if you profile the debts, most of the claims on contracts and agreements that have been breached have come from the previous administration, and we are having to deal with that problem. And so if you look just at the symptom, yes, it's true, somebody can use the system and fraudulently claim judgment debts. And that is realized, and if it's realized, government goes uptight and must retrieve its money. And government has taken that action by hauling the person to court.
And those were the candidates' takes on corruption. Well, last night's final debate was supposed to be all about the issues, but this morning, yes, the issues have been discussed, but also dominating the headlines is the posture of the PNC's presidential candidate, Hassan Ayariga. The MPP is accusing him of using last night's platform to do the bidding of the NDC with his attacks on the MPP's presidential candidate. This is one example the MPP is using as a basis for the allegation. Take a listen.
I am not here to say all die be die. Neither I am here to say all I can for. Neither I want to inspire many of you to say kill guns or airways. In 2000, Professor Mel saved the cause of peace and democracy when he considered defeat in no time after the second round. This was not the case in 2008, when my father sent the people to court on Sunday to stop the EC from declaring Atamils as winner. Hassan Ayariga is going to win the 20th General 12 election one touch. One touch. I want the NDC.
Shall we have some silence, please? Shall we have some silence, please? Shall we have some silence, please?
To pledge and here and now that they will concede defeat to me in no time when I win the 2012 general elections. I, Ayariga, will do same an unlikely event that the PNC loses the election. But I have not forgotten to retire my father and retire my two brothers. We shall retire the two of them and retire the elder one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, that was PNC's Hassan Ayariga there. I'm joined in the studio now by Deputy Communications Director of the NPP, Sami Ewuku. Many thanks for joining us in the studio. Now, you're saying that Mr. Ayariga's posture is more of one of an NDC surrogate. Why do you say that?
Very clearly, yesterday I was seated amongst members of the diplomatic corps and very close to some political scientists and analysts. And anytime you go to the turn of Ayariga, you know, they kept on shaking their heads. And most of them were amazed that we could have such a character contesting or vying to become a president of Ghana. Clearly, Mr. Ayariga had no business being on that platform. You see, the business of electing a president, or Ghana is in search of our next leader. Ghana is not in search of the next comedian to entertain us for the next 4 years. We need a serious person. Yeah, absolutely. You know, in Tamale, when we went to bury His Excellency, the former Vice President, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, Nana Akufo-Addo met Mr. Hassan Ayariga and President Mahama at the VIP lunch at the Tamale airport. And after Nana had exchanged greetings with them and said he was leaving for Accra together with President Kufuor and the rest of us, Mr. Ayariga came to Nana again later, after Nana had left them, and said, oh, he's considering that everybody should agree with him so that we postpone the debate. And Nana was like, well, it's not up to him to postpone it, but what's the basis for that? Ayariga said, well, he couldn't really give any thoughtful or insightful or, excuse me to say, sensible answer. So Nana said, well, it's not up to me to just change the rules of the game. So I'm not too surprised. I've also heard the policy analysts of the PNs who left your studios not too long ago. They are all ashamed.
But you're saying that from these inferences.
No, not just from these. You've seen the posture of Mr. Ayariga.
It doesn't necessarily mean that he's a surrogate of the
I mean, it's clear. I mean, you've had the PNC themselves. They've regretted for electing a comedian as a flag bearer. The running of the affairs of this country, it goes beyond the boundaries of getting who is the next in Commodore, who is the next comedian to entertain us for the next 4 years.
All right,
let me
just hold you on to that. We have on the line Bernard Mona. He's General Secretary of the PNC. He was supposed to have actually been in the studio with us, but he's caught up in traffic. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Mona.
Good afternoon, Araba.
So you heard the criticism by the NPP Deputy Communications Director. What are your reactions?
First, I think that people must know that being in office politics does not give them the opportunity to spew out offensive abusive language. Hassan Ayariga on any platform is a serious person. Hassan Ayariga has his own strengths and weaknesses. He doesn't like the mouth of agents like Awuku to come and make some uncharitable remarks because somebody has offered himself for political leadership. It is a shame that a young character like this, all you know is to offend, to spew out abusive words on others that have. In any case, if Awuku thinks that he has the acumen to lead, he should go and contest elections and let's see. Hassan has put forth himself, and it doesn't like for you to come and say what you want to say. The people of Ghana are going to decide, and therefore you want to go ahead to make your claim on what you want the people of Ghana to decide. What is it that Hassan Ayariga said that has injured the NPP and their reputation so much as to warrant the kind of attacks that they are sending on our flag bearers?
Mr. Mona, several times during the debate, your candidate attacked the NPP's candidate.
Is it not a debate? Is it not a debate? Don't you have the right to take on somebody?
Well, you would have expected that he would take on the president whose seat he's eyeing.
People say that there should be a balance. If he doesn't think that there should be a balance, and that the person that I think that is soft for me to be attacking or to take on is Nanado. What is wrong with that?
All right, hold on for me because I'm also joined on the line by Mr. George Lawson. He's Deputy General Secretary of the ruling NDC. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Lawson.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thanks for asking. Now, how do you respond to these allegations that by the NPP that Hassan Ayariga is doing the bidding of your party?
Thank you very much. I just unfortunately. How can Hassan Ayariga do the work for us? Before the debate, certain things. Why did Nanado not react to it? Rather, reacting to the president. whatever the president says, he has five statements reality. Again, for Samir to stand there and install Ayariga, it's just unfortunate. The shape of democracy. If you want to be a national citizen contest, after it's an treaty, and appoint certain so you take the elected, you invite the elected up. If you take the elected black belt political party, you can't just think the city and be insulting him.
All right.
The attention of power and the things that black barrel, he says of all that, I don't think that they have to do.
Okay, it's a good thing that I have Samuel Wuku here to respond to those.
I mean, clearly, I'm not surprised about the position of the NDC and the PNC's General Secretary. Mr. Ayariga started coughing anytime it got to Nanado's turn to speak. At the point in time, he directed his coughs at my flag bearer. And we take serious issues with that. But Nanado composed himself so much. The man behaved as a thorough politician, out and out politician, who took inspiration from Buzier saying that if you want to go into politics, you must be prepared to stomach nonsense. However, I am not attacking Mr. Ayariga for attacking sake. I'm talking about the quality of representation. Because seated amongst the diplomatic, or where I was sitting, and these things being beamed across the world, and anytime it got to the man's turn, the people felt like, well, they had to endure the next 3 minutes. It was an indictment on the Ghanaian people. And I'm surprised that people will still say that Ayariga acquitted himself. Under which circumstances? The man we're talking about how to even help fight corruption, he said he hasn't read the document. Meanwhile, he proceeds to make comments on it. Aside that, he makes very serious comments about issues that have absolutely nothing to do with the issue on the table. I'm surprised that he was talking about Nana Akufo-Addo saying of Yan can afford it. When President Mahama said people should vote for him because he's an ordinary, that was a good statement.
Okay, those are your views, but those in the PNC... But
these are the views of many Ghanaians.
Those in the PNC believe different, and I'll
No. I think that's unfair, because you've heard the PNC, one of their spokespersons, a policy analyst, disagree with the position of the General Secretary.
But that's not the party's position. That is his own opinion. Well, but let's get the opinion of Bernard Mona. Bernard Mona. Yes, how do you respond to the criticisms that Sami has just raised about your candidate?
I have listened to them with shock and with amazement that they wanted Hassan to do their bit, or what? Hassan came there to do what he thinks he could do. He spoke his mind, he spoke about peace, and said that utterances like all that he died, utterances like using woman, which Samir Wuku himself talked about, that you can use citizens and other things to kill people because it's difficult to get arms. He talked about people saying that annihilate a certain tribe, Akan, Airways, and then guns. He talked about all that they die and saying the idea Akan forcing it's not good. Hassan went ahead to define corruption to include making promises that you know are not tenable, and I think that he has expanded the definition of corruption, which may not be pleasant. Why? Because in our political landscape, people make all manner of promises when they know that they cannot deliver on them. And so when the young man talked about those, let's look at them and let's take them on the merit of the issue that he has discussed. You don't have the right to go and attack his person and to say that we are talking about things that you don't believe in. Once the man was put on that stage, see, the man contested genuine elections. He may have won against other people. Why? It is not everybody that may have loved his victory. But that is what we have. Nobody, and let Samir Wuku understand that it was not 100% good for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the end. Some also decided that they will not support him. And yet today, some of them have to come on board to support Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Hassan did what he wanted to speak on. He enlarged the space for us. He ensured that the people of Ghana got to understand that peace must be peace, and that you don't go and talk all that he died, you don't go and incite tribes, you don't go and tell other group of people that they can die, and then when you turn on another platform, you are still talking about peace. This is the stand that Hassan took. If it is not good for Awuku, let them begin to talk. In any case, they said that Nana Akufo-Addo was a success yesterday. Why are
all right, Mr. Mona, I think the point has been made.
Celebrating the success of Nana Akufo-Addo.
Mr. Mona, I believe that your point has been made. But very quickly, are you worried about the perception out there that your candidate is not a serious one?
No, but I say from day one, issue after issue, Hassan has responded to them in the most eloquent manner that he could. He has been practical. He doesn't pretend about the situation, and he responds to it.
Okay,
he
all
talks
right.
about Pan-Africanism as look. Ghana has always put a claim.
All right. Thank you very much.
Ghana's voice at the international level.
Thank you very much. That was Bernard Mona. He's PNC General Secretary. I still have on the line George Lawson, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Now, you may have heard Samuel Oku allude to that meeting held in Tamale where the PNC leader allegedly told the MPP candidate that, you know, he should...
he wanted the debate
He wanted the debate postponed, yes.
Definitely.
Are you privy to this?
No, I'm not privy to that.
You're not privy to that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. How is the party taking all of this? How does it see this particular the position of the MPP on this particular issue? I mean, how is it taking all of this?
However, it's just unfortunate that if you don't have somebody, you inform the press. Are you saying that what Ayariga said yesterday was he not factual? The first time that they come to speak, didn't Ghana say here account? Didn't he say all that he died? Wasn't he accused of associating himself with drug barrels? Didn't they talk some of them and say they should clear evidence and guns? Isn't that a fact?
But how does the party, the NDC, how does, Mr. Lawson, Mr. Lawson, how does the NDC, Mr. Lawson, can you hear me?
Pardon?
I'm asking, how does the NDC as a party feel about these accusations?
We are desperate. We are just dismissing whatever they are saying. We are focused. We are desperate. I mean, all those things that they are saying. We know that it's a debate. And Nana attacks reacted always to the president, whatever the president says. Why didn't he react? Did he all the things were true?
Okay, all right. Let's wrap up on this issue. Focusing on the issues and the performance of the candidates last night, how do you think that your candidate performed? Did he do the job?
My candidate described himself creditably. I give him A plus for 1.6.
Thank you very much. George Lawson is Deputy General Secretary of the ruling NDC. I'll give the last word, Sammy.
Yeah, you see, it's not surprising that Bernard Mona and the NDC's Deputy General Secretary are singing from the same camp. I never said people should kill people with pistols. And Kennedy Japan, no matter how much you find his comments offensive, never said go and kill levels or guns. It's the spin that has been put on by people like Mr. Mona, Hassan Ayariga, and that's of George Lawson. But in conclusion, I think last night, the debate last night gave us a clear picture as to the choice we have to make come this December 7th. A choice between poverty and prosperity. We have a government that has been plagued with corruption and inaction. A government that promised us to reduce unemployment to the barest minimum. A government that promised us that violent crime was going to be a thing of the past. That's armed robbery. And lastly, a government that promised us more jobs and also one-time health premium. Today, they have totally forgotten about it. And they believe they can have the luxury to promise new stuff ahead of the election.
How did your candidate do?
Nane Akufo-Addo, on the other hand, is promising a transformational Ghana, transformational leadership, where we need to add finishing touches to our raw materials, where we need to provide jobs for our dispirited, disenchanted, disoriented, and disillusioned youth. And the NDC are not interested in that.
Okay,
we are also interested in tackling their warm judgment debts, that people can stand on the radio, on a platform and say, I had no contract with the government of Ghana, but I'm a proud recipient of 510
Very quickly, in one
billion.
word, George Lawson graded his candidate B, A+. How do you grade your candidate?
I think Nanado is above the grade.
Okay, thank you very much.
What we need is not about the A+ or the F-.
He's Deputy Director of Communications for the NPP, and that's how we wrap up election headquarters today. My name is Araba Kumsin. The program was brought to you live on radio, Joy 99.7, on TV, on the Joy News channel, on Multi TV, and online at myjoyonline.com. It's supported by Infobox Mobile Services. Text election or joy to 1922, as well as Star Ghana. Join us tomorrow, same time. Good afternoon.
have a few quibbles with Mr. Ayariga's performance, however. He seemed a bit too intent on reading his nose instead of telling us what he thought. And he spent too much time attacking Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP instead of making his case. Having said that, I think the rest of them were generally vigorous in defense of their positions. Everybody came with their own strategy, and I think they acquitted themselves very well. Nanado was very forceful in stating the reasons he thought he should be elected, and President Mahama was very strong in making the case for another term for the NDC. I think it was a very good night, and all the four gentlemen should be very proud of the work they did. But I think that overall it was a good performance, but I think the MPP should worry because I think Mr. Ayariga did quite a bit of damage to Nanado, and unfortunately he didn't have a chance to rebut some of the points.
And though they may be of different ideological point of view in their approach to policy, it is encouraging to see African presidential candidates for the first time in the history of this continent where presidents are being questioned about how they intend to govern their countries before they get the approval to do so. Previously, African presidents just ruled by whim, and we have to accept how they run the country. In this case, we are given the opportunity to see in some way or shape or form how they intend to run the country, and if they live up to their mandate, then there's the possibility we can give them another term.
What many of the aspirants don't, I think, understand is that people read even the body language. People read even the comportment. Delivery is not too much because we're speaking a foreign language, English. But they're looking also at the substance. And it's not a matter of just words. It's a matter of pragmatism. And therefore, as they tried presenting their views and looking at the manifesto promises of their parties, Ghanaians are observing the leadership qualities in the aspirants.
Talking about leadership qualities, but not to cut you, what do you think? How do you rate your candidates against the other three candidates that were on stage today?
Oh, definitely, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama stands tall among the candidates. Dr. Abu Sakara is very good, well informed, and but a bit academic because he's not been in governance. So most of the things he says are like in a lecture room. Hassan Ayariga is a very down-to-earth, pragmatic young man who has a lot of good ideas. It's how to put them across that is his challenge. But he has put up a very strong fight, sometimes very humorous, and therefore takes the seriousness of his bite. Nana Akufo-Addo most of the time raps, talks very good language. His body language is not too attractive. It's like always dancing azonto, and I think that he also spent too much time trying to attack the NDC. The concern of the people is not attacking the parties. It's about putting across what you will do if given the opportunity. But he spent a lot of time having some swipes at the NDC government, but forgetting that when they were in opposition and were in government during the Jerry John Rawlings time, they sang the same song that the NDC sang when they were in opposition.